Is it okay to curse, use profanity, to swear? Well, okay, is it okay? Is it good? Is it bad? We all know that it's all about perception. There's no good, there's no bad. It all comes down to perception. Now, is it bad to curse or is it good to curse? Well, I will say one thing. It's one thing to curse for emphasis, because cursing is an adjective, right? In most scenarios, it is an adjective. It's to exaggerate a situation. It's to describe a situation. You hit your foot in the bed, you want to curse, right? You want to swear. You hear a bad rumor about you, you say, who the is saying that? You want to curse, right? Most likely cursing does have a negative connotation. In most scenarios, cursing does have a negative connotation. In others, it could just be fun. It could just be to make a point, right? But if you are looking at this video and you're thinking, I want to know a perspective on cursing, a different perspective. Is it good? Is it bad? Right? For me, and I can only speak for me, for myself, it is simply distracting. Distracting. I'm not quite sure what the right term is. Distracting. It's distracting. It is very distracting. If you're trying to convey a point, if you're trying to make a point, and I keep cursing and swearing, and make no mistake, this becomes a distraction from what I'm trying to convey, from what the point that I'm trying to make. And when it comes to communication, the key is to convey your thoughts, to come across as you want to come across, to let the receptor know exactly what you're talking about. In this case, is it bad? It's not bad to curse. Is it good? It's not good either. No good or bad here. I'm not talking about judgment. I'm not talking about any of that sort. My point is it necessary? I think this is the question we should be asking ourselves, especially if you're interested in this type of perspective about cursing. I believe it's not necessary. So instead of asking ourselves, is it good, is it bad, is it necessary? It isn't. Is it fun? Oh yes, it's fun to curse. How I manage my cursing, because I do curse, of course, I'm human, and sometimes a situation deserves a good curse word. I can think of many. I use it for emphasis. I don't say curse words, profanity in everything I say. I used to, back in my 20s, early 20s, my teenage years, I cursed all the time. Lately, in my 30s, I strive to be eloquent. I do say profanity from now and then, but I try to make it always, to use it to make a point. It's for emphasis. And you know what happens is, since most people lately, or the people that I hang around with lately, since they're not used to hearing me curse, when they hear me curse, they know that it's something serious or something very funny, or I'm trying to make a point. It's for emphasis. And they get caught a little bit off guard. But it's okay. I think it's a funny situation. But that's my point. For me, cursing and using profanity, when it becomes a habit, you could find yourself in a delicate situation. When I say a habit, I mean when you're cursing pretty much in every sentence you speak, right? Or you cannot make a point without cursing. That's an exercise. Next time you're having a conversation with someone, try to make a point. Emphasize an emotionally strong point in that conversation without cursing. That is a good challenge. That is a very good challenge. The thing is, when we become dependent on profanity, it becomes very difficult to be eloquent at a moment's time when we need to be eloquent. Maybe you're meeting your girlfriend's parents, or you're in a meeting with your boss, but it's outside the office. You still want to keep things professional, but it's friendlier. But if you're used to cursing all the time, it becomes really tough. So I can give you an example. It's a radical example, but I think it applies. It's like being naked, right? There's nothing wrong with being naked. Sometimes you need to be naked. If you're taking a shower or bath, you gotta be naked. Sleeping naked is also, I hear, is good for your health. But what happens when you're naked all the time? Unless you're in a naked beach, in a nude beach, you're gonna have problems. People will want to stay away from you. You will be weird. This is my point. You become dependent on it. But there's nothing wrong with it. At times you need to be naked. At times you need to use profanity. I wouldn't say you need to, but it's fun too. It's fun to do so. There's nothing wrong with doing it, using profanity every now and then. I do so myself. The point of this is, be careful not to become dependent on swearing, on using profanity, on cursing. There's one of my favorite books, The Four Agreements. I recommend this book to anyone. It doesn't matter the age, doesn't matter the gender, doesn't matter anything. I do believe everyone could benefit from reading it at least once in their life. The Four Agreements. The first agreement is be impeccable with your word. Now, this makes reference to not speaking ill of anyone, gossiping, but I believe it also applies to using profanity. How eloquent can your vocabulary be in particular? If you're impeccable with your word, in every sense of the word, I know I sound redundant right there, but I do believe you can achieve a level of mastering when it comes to conveying an idea, where you're able to transmit this idea to any audience you can think of. Old, young, men, women, different cultural background. This is my belief, and I've been striving to be impeccable with my word in every sense of the phrase. And so far, I can tell you, it's given me great results. If I am at a specific situation, I don't have to watch what I say. I don't have to, oh man, I hope I didn't offend you. No, because I already know that I am, more or less, I am eloquent in the sense of the use of profanity, cursing. And if I do say a particular swear word, I know that I meant it. And it's like a punchline in a joke. I used it with intention. I am not saying profanity in every sentence that I speak. That's the only point. That's the main point that I wanted to make in this video. Don't let it become a subconscious necessity. Use profanity as a tool to emphasize. But it takes practice. It takes practice. You have to be very aware of everything you say. There are techniques you can do, like pinching yourself every time you say a curse word. There are many different techniques, different tips and tricks you can do. But if you decide to be like I mentioned, like the book says, impeccable with your word, and to strive to be eloquent, or as eloquent as you can be, with your friends, family, peers, with strangers, with anybody. I believe you will see the benefits. So go ahead, my friend, try it.